Everyone. SSB generation advantages and disadvantages. We will discuss about this topic in today's lecture. SSB, as we know that, is an important type of modulation method where we only communicate one sideband. So, in previous lectures, we have seen that how a single sideband is effective, how does it provide the whole content or information at the receiver. So in this lecture, we will continue with how do we generate SSB signal and its advantages and disadvantages. So let's take me, a pointer. Okay, I have chosen a pointer here. All right. So as we know that this is amplitude modulation. SSB is a type of amplitude modulation. So we begin with what the amplitude modulation is. We know that in amplitude modulation, the amplitude of carrier changes according to instantaneous value of message signal. So if you see here that this is an AM signal where the envelope is changing, and if you see inside there is a carrier and the frequency of original carrier is not changing. What is changing is the amplitude, and the amplitude of carrier is changing, you see here, according to instantaneous value of modulating signal. So if you see the envelope, this envelope is actually instantaneous value of message signal. So we know that in any AM signal, amplitude modulated signal, two sidebands are generated, namely upper sideband and lower sideband. And we also send the carrier along with the two sidebands, and that signal is called as complete AM signal, full AM signal, a default AM signal, which is actually DSB FC, DSB full carrier. And we know that in DSB full carrier, if you look at this diagram, you see here, this is the spectrum of DSB FC, where we can find there is a spectrum at FC plus FM, which is the spectrum of upper sideband. And you see here, below carrier frequency, there is sideband which is located at FC minus FM. So if you look at the center, carrier is there, the spectrum of carrier is there. The analysis of how do we get this spectrum we have already made. But what is important here, that if you extend from this carrier frequency to upper sideband frequency, you find the bandwidth FC plus FM minus FC. This will give you FM. The total bandwidth of your upper sideband is FM. Similarly, if you calculate the bandwidth here, right, that is FC, say FC2, FC minus FM, you will get the bandwidth FM. It means either in upper sideband or lower sideband, the bandwidth is same. And what is the bandwidth? FM. What is FM? Maximum modulating signal frequency. The signal is band limited to FM. It means the message signal, the instantaneous value, that is modulating signal, is lying in both these sidebands. The complete information lies in either upper sideband or lower sideband. There is no information which is present in the carrier. Carrier does not carry. So this is the spectrum of complete AM signal, which we also call as DSB full carrier. How do we calculate the bandwidth of DSB-FC? 2 times of maximum value of, that is, modulating signal frequency. Here it is FM. So 2 times of FM, because FM is the bandwidth of one sideband, but we are sending both the sidebands, and therefore the total bandwidth required in AM signal is twice of bandwidth of one sideband. Clear? So that is about bandwidth. What is the total power which is required to transmit the signal when we talk about DSB-FC? We are discussing in this lecture about SSB, but why we are here again discussing about DSB-FC? The reason is, when we discuss advantages of SSB, we will compare with respect to DSB-FC, and therefore we are just getting the spectrum of DSB, especially in terms of bandwidth and total power, introduced with the complete AM signal. So what is total power? When you send complete AM signal, the total power will be carrier power plus upper sideband power plus lower sideband power. Clear? Because we are sending upper sideband, lower sideband and carrier. So the total power will be contributed by all these, or power of all these signals. But so what is the problem with the DSB-FC? What is the difficulty? Why do we want SSB? Why do we need to generate SSB? Why do we need to transmit SSB? There are some drawbacks in DSB-FC. What are those drawbacks? Large power consumption. Carrier power is almost 2/3 or more of the total transmitted power, despite the fact that carrier does not contain any information. Do you understand the meaning of this statement? This is very important. Carrier requires 2/3 of total transmitted power. See here, the total power is carrier power plus upper sideband plus lower sideband. So almost 2/3 of power or even more is there in the carrier. Hardly 1/3 power is required for transmitting both the sidebands. And if you calculate power required by one sideband, it will be 1/6 of total power. 1/3 is the total power required in both sideband. So 1/6 will be power required by one of the sideband. So what is the drawback of DSB-FC? Carrier is sent, both the sidebands are sent, both the sidebands require 1/3 of total power. Carrier requires 2/3 of total power, which is even disastrous. Why? Because carrier does not carry any information, but we are sending it, we are transmitting it, though we know that it does not carry any message signal. So therefore, the power consumption is unnecessarily more in case of DSB-FC. Large bandwidth is utilized since we are sending carrier and both the sideband. So the bandwidth required will be double of what is actually required when we send a single sideband. So the bandwidth required will be more. Transmitting both the sideband is redundant. So first disadvantage or drawback is large power is required. Second is large bandwidth is needed. Large amount of bandwidth is utilized. It involves cost. It will increase the noise also. The DSB is both, therefore, power and bandwidth inefficient. It is inefficient in terms of power as well as bandwidth requirement. That is about the DSB. This particular slide demonstrates the spectrum of all different possible combinations. This is, electronicpost.com is the source from where the spectrum has been copied. You see here, for example, The spectrum of message signal, look at here, is extending from minus W to plus W. Say minus W by W is the total band or bandwidth where the message spectrum is lying. Now when we go for DSB-SC, say we are only transmitting both the sideband and we are not transmitting carrier. That is possible. DSB is also possible in two different ways, DSB-FC and DSB-SC. So look at here, when we transmit DSB-SC, you see here there are two sidebands. And the two sidebands are, one is extending from, it is FC to FC plus omega, and then FC minus omega to FC. If you see the spectrum from 0 to omega, only positive side, for this component we are getting two components, either side of FC. Similarly, you see the negative side, 0 to minus omega or W. This is going in both the side of minus FC in the negative side as well. So when we transmit only upper sideband, for example, let us concentrate here only. When we transmit only upper sideband, what will happen? This particular part will only be transmitted, and the lower part, this is what will not be transmitted. In the negative side, upper sideband, which is beyond carrier frequency, lower sideband, which is below carrier frequency, is eliminated, is suppressed. So in single sideband, only either USB or LSB. For example, in the third case, see in the fourth part of this diagram, only LSB is communicated. Here in the negative side also, both are LSB. Both are LSB. So in this case, only lower sideband is communicated. So what do we do? Either we send upper sideband or lower sideband, and of course we do not send the carrier. It becomes SSBSC, that is single sideband suppressed carrier, where either of the sideband is transmitted and there is no carrier which is sent. So you see here another diagram. Suppose we are only communicating upper sideband. When we are only communicating upper sideband, you see here, when we are communicating only upper sideband, if you see that only upper sideband is getting transmitted, right? See, this particular area actually is not blank. This FC is center and this band is actually, what I can say, let me use one highlighter, that would be better. Actually, this would be here. This particular area, see, this particular area is your upper sideband, right? So this upper sideband is transmitted, and if you choose a different color, this particular band, see here, this particular band is not transmitted. So which is transmitted? The lower sideband, better to use green color. See here, this particular band is transmitted and extending from, please remember, extending from FC to FC plus FM. All right. So in this method, in SSB-SC, only one of the sideband is transmitted and other sideband is suppressed. Other sideband is suppressed. Clear? Now see here, in SSB-FC, when you calculate bandwidth, what will happen? When we see the spectrum which is extending from FC to FC plus FM, and what will be the, when I use a pen here, this is the gap. And what is the gap? It is FM. So what is the bandwidth here? This total bandwidth is FM. This total bandwidth is FM. And what about the total power required? The total power required will be, carrier power. If it is full carrier carrier power plus upper sideband power. When we do not send this carrier, only upper sideband power will be needed, and bandwidth in both the case will be maximum bandwidth of either of the sideband. This is the power and bandwidth calculation when we are only sending one sideband. So in SSB AM, this is a method, this is the AM method in which carrier is transmitted at full power, but only one sideband. When it is SSB FC, as I told you, SSB has two variants, SSB FC and SSB SC. So when SSB, SSB full carrier, the carrier is sent, and either of the sideband, either of the upper sideband or lower sideband is communicated. It requires less bandwidth. Why it requires less bandwidth? Because we are communicating only one sideband. We are communicating only one sideband. This is the AM in which carrier is totally suppressed. For example, when it is AM where carrier is also suppressed and one of the sideband is removed, in that case, this will become SSB-SC. So we have two, SSB-FC and SSB-SC. SSB-SC requires half as much bandwidth as traditional DSB-AM, because in DSB-AM, that is when both the sidebands are communicated, twice the bandwidth of single sideband is needed. So just half bandwidth, remember, just half bandwidth is required in SSB-SC, and of course, power is also considerably less. Power is also considerably less. Why? Because we are only sending sideband, and we have seen in previous slide that carrier requires significant power. Carrier requires significant amount of power. That saving is there. Power up one of the sidebands, saving is there. So we save the amount of power significantly. That is also there. That advantage is also there. And of course, carrier power is saving is also there. So when we want to discuss how the SSB is generated. Now the agenda is how SSB is generated. There are two methods. One is filtering method and second is phasing method, phaser method. So let's talk about filtering method. In filtering method, what do? We know that how many sidebands are there in DSB, two sidebands. So can we use DSB generator? Yes. How DSB is generated? Very popularly, balance modulator is used. Balance modulator is used. Rather, this is not balance modulator, this is single balance modulator, where there will be two similar modulators. So we call it as balanced modulator. So when balance modulator is used, and then it will generate two sidebands. So what we will do, either of the sideband will be passed, and then the remaining sideband will be removed. A quartz crystal filters are most widely used sideband filters because of being selective and inexpensive. We use the quartz crystal filter. We use the crystal filter. You can say crystal oscillator that allows certain frequency range. And that frequency range will be determined on the basis of what range of frequencies we want to allow. Either the frequencies of upper sideband, that is FC to FC plus FM, or if we want to allow FC minus FM to FM. So accordingly, we will choose the filter. Now let us see that this is the the block diagram of filtering method. How can we generate the SSB? This is the block diagram. So see, we are using balance modulator. As I told you, that balance modulator, what does it do? It is taking carrier and then microphone means the audio amplifier, because we know that when there is an audio signal generated through the microphone, the amplification is needed, the strength has to be enhanced. So after passing it through audio amplifier, it is sent to a balance modulator, and carrier is also subjected. Carrier is also sent to balance modulator. As I have already told you, this balance modulator is not a single modulator. It combines two similar AM modulators. And then there is an arrangement which we have studied in DSB, that it generates double sideband. What do we do? Double sideband, and that too carrier is suppressed. This balance modulator generates DSB-SC signal, rather it is DSB-SC signal that is passed to sideband filter. When it is passed to sideband filter, SSB is generated. SSB is generated because either the sideband will be rejected and one of the sideband will be selected. And that selected sideband, again, after passing through these electronic circuits, the strength again needs to be boosted up. So what do? We are amplifying using a linear amplifier, and then the single sideband can be transmitted through the transmitting antenna. So this is a block diagram, and if you look at this, the response, frequency response of filter being used, sideband filter. So this is, the highlighted in red color is the signal which is being allowed, and the other part is being removed. What is being allowed is this one, and therefore this is the response of the filter being chosen. And this component is allowed, another component is rejected. So this is how we generate SSB. What do? We use balance modulator that generates DSB-SC, double sideband suppressed carrier. In double sideband suppressed carrier, we have both the sidebands. One of the sideband can be eliminated by the sideband filter. This will either choose upper sideband or lower sideband depending on the frequency response of filter being used. The range of frequencies which are to be allowed by the filter, that decides which filter will be passed, and after passing that, after allowing that signal, it is amplified, and that amplified signal is transmitted through the antenna. So this is how it works. All right. So this is the method called as filtering method. The next method is the phasing method. We use the phasor method. How does it work? Here also we use two balance modulators driven by carriers and modulating signals, and the modulating signals and carriers will have 90-degree phase difference. In the DSB, we will see in the diagram. And if we can add both the DSB signals, we will get single sideband, one sideband, and other sideband will be eliminated. So let us see here. There is a diagram, right? This diagram is about phasor method, phasing method of generation of SSB. Generation of SSB. Look at here what we are doing. The information is coming here. What is information? Message signal is coming here, which we can also write as AM cosine omega MT. Here, AM cosine omega MT is going. Now, if it is sent to phase shifter, right? Phase shift is taking place. There is some phase shift. So, it produces AM cos omega MT plus 90 degrees. Similarly, the carrier signal is also, original carrier is sent to balance modulator, and then after phase deviation, phase shift, carrier by the phase shifter, it is passed to the signal which is generated is AC cosine omega CT plus 90 degree. So if we can see one interesting diagram, in balance modulator, the original carrier and the phase delayed modulating signal, and the second balance modulator, original message signal and the delayed carrier signal are sent. So we get two signal, A1T and A2T, and both are mixed together, and we get the output signal, and this output signal is our single sideband. All right. So this is the phasing method. This is some mathematical analysis of this, what I can say, the phasing method, where A1T and A2T we are writing for these actually. These are smaller letter A1T and A2T. And if we can combine A1T plus A2T, we'll get A0T or A0T or AOT, whatever you want to say. Here we are getting the output signal, right? And how we are calculating? A1t is AC cosine omega ct. See here how we are getting A1t. How does balance modulator work? A1 AC cos omega ct plus 90 degree, then it is to be modulated by AM cos omega mt. Similarly, AM cos omega mt plus 90 degree will modulate original carrier. So if you look at here, AC cosine omega ct plus 90 degree is modulated by AM cos omega mt, that is original message signal. And if we calculate, we'll get this mathematical expression, that is using the trigonometric expression, that cosine x into cosine y is 1 by 2 cosine a plus cosine b divided by 2 plus cosine a minus cosine b, cosine a minus b divided by 2. So when we solve it, we'll get this lengthy expression. Similarly, when we calculate A2t, where the original carrier is modulated by delayed modulating signal. See here, this is delayed modulating signal. So when we get this signal using the same trigonometric formula, and then when we add both, that is A1t plus A2t, we will get, you know, the other terms will get cancelled, and then we'll get AC AM cosine omega ct plus 90 degree plus omega mt. When we solve it, suppose we take omega c plus omega mt together plus 90 degree, it becomes cosine a plus b, cosine x plus y, cosine x cosine y minus sine x sine y. Sine 90 sine x, that will remove, and that cosine 90 will become 0. So one term will be eliminated, other term will be sine of omega c plus omega mt. Either sine or cosine, whatever, but we will get omega c plus omega mt term. What is important for us? We want to generate one sideband. We want to produce one sideband. We want to remove other sideband. Probably when we subtract it, we will get the other term omega ct minus omega mt. So therefore, I use the term mixer. We use a proper mixing, we'll get either of the sideband. When we add plus, when we use plus symbol, we are getting upper sideband. When we take negative symbol, that is minus symbol, we will get lower side. So we can get accordingly either of the sideband, either upper sideband or lower side. Now, as I told you, this was the discussion about generation of SSB. The next part we will discuss about advantages and disadvantages of SSB modulation method. So less bandwidth is required, and therefore we can allow more number of signals to be transmitted in the same frequency range. This is very interesting. What is this point? We have already seen in the previous slide that the bandwidth required is less, almost, or not almost, just half of the bandwidth of DSP modulation method. So bandwidth required is less. So if we can save bandwidth in communication, bandwidth is a costly matter. Bandwidth is expensive affair. So when we can save a bandwidth, we can use that bandwidth to accommodate more signals. So when we are saving bandwidth, more and more number of signals can be transmitted when there is saving of bandwidth. So it allows two things. By reducing the bandwidth, it reduces the bandwidth required is less. So there is bandwidth saving, and thereby allowing more number of signals to be accommodated, more number of signals can be transmitted when there is saving of bandwidth. What is next? Power saving due to transmission of only one sideband. This point also we have seen when we were comparing DSP and SSB. There is power saving because only one sideband, and that too when we do not send carrier power will also be saved. So there will be saving of carrier power as well as one of the sideband power. So we can save the transmitted power significantly, considerably. For example, 100% modulation. This numerical problem we have discussed in previous lecture. When the percentage modulation is 100%, modulation index is 1, the power saving is 83.33%. Power saving is 83.33%. When only one sideband is sent and carrier and one of the sideband are suppressed, there is a power saving of 83.33%. Can you understand this? the power required with respect to total power is only 16.67. 16.67% of total power is only required when we are using SSB. When we are transmitting only one sideband, 16.67% of total power is only required. The remaining power is saved here. Less interference or noise due to reduced bandwidth, because if bandwidth increases, the amount of noise added to the signal also increases. See, as we have discussed in other topic, noise in communication system, and we have noted there that the noise signal is mainly contributed by the channel, and that too, the broader is the channel, more possibility of mixing noise. More will be the possibility of mixing noise. So see here in SSB, the bandwidth is reduced, the half bandwidth. So the possibility, the likelihood of mixing unwanted signal is obviously reduced, and therefore less interference or less noise. Selective fading is also one advantage. We can say selective fading. We know that we have two side bands. This is also interesting thing. This is how we can increase the SNR, that is signal to noise ratio. How signal to noise ratio is an important parameter in communication system. When we reduce, because signal strength for same signal strength, if noise content is reduced, SNR will be improved, SNR will be better. Selective fading, when we know that we have two side bands, one side is low frequency side and other side band is high frequency side. And say the low frequency side, that is lower side band, is more likely to be penetrated, more likely to be affected by the noise or interference. What we can choose? We can prefer sending only upper side band, and we can prefer not to send lower side band. This is how the amount of fading, the amount of interference which is likely to happen, which is likely to create adverse effect in the signal, can be reduced. So these are the major advantages of SSB. The major advantages, they include number one, power saving, number two, bandwidth saving. If bandwidth saving is there, some cost saving will be there. If bandwidth is less interference, less noise probability is there. And then selective fading also gives the advantage with regard to noise signal. So this is about the advantages. Next one is disadvantages. Generation of SSB signal is complicated and it requires complex receiver. Mainly, this is important. See, when we are talking about generating SSB signal, means you have to make a special arrangement at the receiving end, at the receiver. So we need to design a complex receiver. Now we need to understand, how does receiver become complex? It is because we know that when SSBSC is there, we do not send carrier. When we do not send carrier, what happens? We know that when we want very good recovery of message signal at the receiver, we need to use same carrier frequency, and that's very difficult. To generate the exact or precise value of carrier frequency at the receiver is very difficult. So in order to synchronize in terms of frequency as well as phase, because the phase may also change while signal being transmitted over the channel. So in order to provide phase synchronization, in order to provide frequency synchronization, we need to make certain arrangements, certain extra circuits will be needed in the design of receiver. So therefore the overall design of receiver becomes complex. It becomes complex, and therefore that's a drawback. SSB transmitter and receiver need to have an excellent frequency stability and synchronization. When there is any frequency drift, when there is any frequency variation, Whenever there is a frequency change or frequency variation, again it will cause poor synchronization. So in order to get synchronization, frequency stability is important. So we need to generate precise value of carrier frequency at the receiver. So that's one need, one requirement. And second, the synchronization arrangement has to be made at the receiver. SSB is not generally used for transmission of good quality music. Therefore, SSB is not generally used for transmission of good quality music. When we want a fine quality of music, very fine, very, precise quality of music, that may not be achieved because of these difficulties. Even if there is slight variation in the carrier frequency which we are generating at the receiver, even if there is slight problem, small problem in the synchronization circuit, it may have a small variation in the frequency of the recovered signal. And that type of, even the smallest amount of frequency variation, frequency change is not at all expected at the receiver when at least whenever we want to listen music. The quality will be degraded. So generally SSB is not recommended for very good quality of music. So what does it, where the SSB is used? SSB is generally recommended for voice transmission, voice communication, speech communication. The variation which will be or which is likely to be produced at the receiving end will not that much degrade the quality of voice signal or speech signal. So therefore, we use SSBs particularly for voice or speech communication. And therefore, you look at here the application of SSB where generally, if I can change this, yes, where generally the SSB is used, applicable. It is used in all those applications where power saving and low bandwidth are requirement. Power saving and low bandwidth are expected, desired. In all those applications, we want lesser power, we want to save power, we want our application at lower bandwidth, lesser bandwidth, so we can go for SSB. Of course, particularly for music kind of good quality transmission, there would be difficulty, so we will avoid that. What is next? Land, I mean, these are examples. Land and air mobile communication system, land communication, telephone communication, mobile, that is air, land, air and mobile, it is land, air and mobile communication. Telemetry, where we can, from the distant places, we can assess something by communicating. Telemedicine, telemetry, military communication, for point-to-point communication, secure communication in military operations, in military applications, the SSB is recommended. Navigation, for navigating purpose, for amateur radio, which is a specific radio used for specific application, intended to serve some number of clients, specific number of clients or customers. Then point-to-point communication, point-to-point communication. So these are a few important major applications where SSB is used. So before we end, let's sum up this lecture. This lecture is all about generation of SSB signal, and then after generating the signal, we have discussed about, after discussion on generating the signal, we have discussed about the advantages and disadvantages mainly. There are two important methods to generate SSB, filtering method and phasing method. In filtering method, generally, we use balance modulator which generates DSBSC. Once we get DSBSC, we pass through filter. One of the sideband can be rejected and other sideband can be allowed. And then we can get a single sideband. In phasing method also, we make a certain arrangement of two balance modulator. In one balance modulator, one original basis signal and the phase delayed carrier signal are given and we get the modulated signal. In other balance modulator, because we use two balance modulator, The phase delayed modulating signal and original carrier signal are subjected. We get a modulated signal. Both are subjected to the mixer device where we can generate either of the sideband. So in single sideband, we have seen mathematically also with the help of a spectrum that there is significant amount of power saving, because if carrier is not sent, especially large amount of power can be saved. And even if carrier is sent, some amount of power is saved because one sideband is not sent. Bandwidth saving is there. Half bandwidth is only needed when we compare with DSB. So those are the major advantages of SSB we have discussed. And then there are drawbacks, because when we want only one sideband to be communicated, when we want carrier not to be sent, so a specific, a precise value of carrier needs to be generated in the receiver. And at the receiving end, frequency and phase synchronization arrangements are to be provided. So in order to provide phase and frequency synchronization, in order to generate precise value of carrier frequency, which is requirement to recover the signal in a better way. So extra arrangements are required that makes the complexity of the receiver, the circuit complexity of receiver, it increases the circuit complexity, and thereby it also demands for some additional cost in order to accommodate, in order to provide that extra arrangement at the receiver. And therefore, when there is a very good quality of music transmission which we want, we do not prefer using SSB, but SSB can be recommended in all point-to-point telephonic land communication, military communication, amateur radio, where we are interested to communicate, point-to-point telephonic voice or a speech we want to communicate. There, the SSB can be used. So that's all for this lecture. Thank you.